And Chris is back.
I'm here.
Yes, Chris is back. Hi, Chris.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you.
Hi, Scott. So wait a minute.
Good afternoon, folks.
Hey, Scott.
How
Chris,
doing,
you look
Scott?
way too distinguished for this group.
What?
It is what it is, John.
He's in his coat and tie. I mean, you can't bike on a coat and tie, can you?
Folks in the DGR do it all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
Thought about that.
we might have to.
How's the weather out west, Scott?
It's a little cool today and kind of muggy. I just got back from a virtual 5K, so we can get a free t-shirt from our company's fitness facility. Obviously, I'm riding out the pandemic at home office. I got my t-shirt on.
Yeah, we'll give our program a few more minutes to show up, but we may just have to turn this into a happy hour meeting. Got no Amanda, no agenda, no program.
Gosh, that would be terrible, wouldn't it?
All right.
What would we ever talk about without an agenda and without Amanda?
She's had a bad day. I can tell you that.
Well, it's obvious. We talk about Amanda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's had a day or two of not so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Is ibuprofen in the smoothie comment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
800 milligrams is soldier's candy.
Yeah, vitamin M, we call it. So what was the program supposed to be for today?
Anna Patel, she is a Rotary Peace Fellow, and she was going to talk about Rotary's ecosystem for peace.
Cool.
I tried to confirm with her over the weekend, and she never responded back.
Mm.
We'll blame it on Chris. He's the one that sent me the name.
There you go.
I'll take the blame.
She was the one of the interesting ones I emailed you back about. Everybody's so quiet.
I've been working on Rotary's infrastructure for BMW repair. I've got, I picked this up today and I'm thinking it's not what I need for the, an Android tablet. Apparently I've got to hack the thing to get into the Google Play Store and find the MotoScan app so I can read the code on my GS and say, what's wrong with the brakes? But,
Oh, by the way, you know, you need this analytic thing for the machine. My husband just ordered one, you know, that you can make all the settings you can delete and make it new. And BMW have a license for that, and we have the old thing, but we couldn't use it with the new bike, so we just ordered a new one. So
well, here's the other piece I was trying out, but I can get the cheaper one of this if I use Android, or I could go with the GS 911.
yeah.
Everyone from,
Yes,
yeah,
that's what you told me, yeah. Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, the cheapest thing is the owner, right? So just how long do I wrestle with it before I just pony up the $400 to get the tool that everybody else says is the right one to use?
Do it.
Yep. As long as the
Yeah,
wife
the
doesn't
most
look at the credit.
The most expensive thing decision you can make is buying cheap.
It's a Rotary meeting every Wednesday night on Zoom.
We're being advertised.
Like,
Oh, is that Linda?
huh? No, that wasn't.
Okay. I wasn't looking at the right Hollywood Squares box. You're Brian tonight, huh, Linda?
Oh, it didn't get changed. No, I'm Amanda tonight.
Oh, you're Amanda today. Okay.
You do this, not Brian. Not Amanda.
That's what I was telling my kid he's got to use at school when he's just having an off day. Tell the teacher, yeah, somebody else logged in as me today.
You should do that.
Somewhere that might work. Yeah.
Well, this one is,
Four-way test.
it's called.
We're violating the first principle.
Motorcycle rides.
What?
So it's for motorcycling
What made,
parents that are from all over the states in Canada, and they meet once a week. But there have been no rides this year because we can't cross the border. So it's been pretty frustrating. But nice people.
We can learn about ourselves.
See if she gets it right.
It's Blair's wife.
Oh, okay.
See if she says something rude.
Be disappointed if there wasn't something a little bit rude, maybe.
Yeah. We've missed our calling.
They're some really nice people, but.
Some really nice people, but not so
nice.
Some nice people. She had to
Some.
clarify it there. Yeah.
Only some.
One or two.
one or two, and the rest are all kind of questionable.
That's kind of part of why we do it, to be thought of as a little bit rough around the edges.
Well, it comes with a bike, so.
Good question. Don't mind. So the interesting
Uta's turning circles.
it's like, do that.
Motor gymnastics there.
That's really, she must really be bored. Yeah.
Yeah. Either she's circling down the drain with her BMW there.
Or she's on the moon right now. You know, she's upside down.
Yeah.
I only want to show you the nice New Mexico look.
Mm,
It's
pretty
Albuquerque
state.
area.
Yeah.
There's such a nice picture, but I can't find it right now. So I have to delete the other one. That's not working. Here we go.
Yeah. I got the ST1300 out for a little spin across town today to go to Target and grab that thing.
I was at the service with my husband's bike. That was enough. Hot, humid. You don't want that.
Yeah.
How is it in California right now?
Oh,
Actually, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool down here too. Not humid. It's I haven't been out much today, but I went out just to walk down to the post office to get the mail, and it was cooler than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I'm totally jealous. I would like that. You know, no humidity, right, Deborah?
You know, I keep looking because I'm originally from Chicago, and I keep going, you know, I could ride north. I could stay in Texas. But there are just too many things that make me go, yeah, this is not a good time to make a decision.
I remember last year we was in September. That was so in the middle of the hurricane time. We was in North Carolina, and on the way back, and there was this one big tornado what goes through Dallas, and it was exactly on the way we had to go on the way back, and then we decided to stop in Asheville. This is where we met Paul last year. And then we had to stay another day because the weather was only raining. At the end, there was no day. We was going 3 days back, plus the 2 days in Asheville. And we had only rain. We were so wet when we came to Houston. And close to Houston, it was colder and raining like hell. And it was only, you know, I only want to be home and not on the street anymore. It's not nice.
That's why it's called an adventure.
Yes, I know. So what I learned next time, at this time, maybe not with a bike in this direction.
Yeah, we actually, I just had a call earlier with some of the girls that I ride with, and at this point, we're looking at Saturday morning going, okay, it's going to be great, but we want to be done at like noon, 2 o'clock at the latest, because that afternoon is so brutal, and it just makes it not fun. So
maybe you go to Blessing Hotel.
Blessing Hotel, we can ride, you know, we could go out towards Newman's and, or I've come up with, I got a list of these things. And it's like, it's just nice. We like to get out, and we didn't ride it all last weekend. And so now it's like, okay, we want to go, but it's like, okay, we have a window. We have to be in the window, and that's it.
I got the R65 out in the Oakland Hills last weekend. That was fun. Got to flog that thing a little bit. It's, you miss a shift here and there, and the thing really talks to you about what speed you're going and what you're doing, but it was fun.
Pretty nice where Michaela's at.
Hey,
You're wearing white.
backyard.
You're brave.
You get the, I am.
Michaela, where are you
You hear
at
me
these days?
okay?
Yeah, just fine.
Just my backyard. It's quite nice out here, actually. Dee-dee.
Looks great.
What's
A
the
backyard
puppy's
with a
name?
dog.
Yeah,
Come at the pool party with us.
yeah, there you go.
And what's the puppy's name?
Trying to find a spot to put the phone here. There we go.
Have you
What
seen,
is the,
Very pleasant evening out here tonight.
have you seen the videos with the dog on the internet that Pluto the dog looks just like that.
Oh yeah,
Those are hysterical.
there's Oscar.
Hi, Oscar.
Yours are the best to play with.
Yeah, he does pretty good until the neighbor kids start jumping on the trampoline next door, and then he wants to be all part of that action.
You have a dog as well. What is the name of your dog? Chris.
my dog's name is Nutmeg.
Muskatnuss. It's a
It's like the
German
nickname in Nintendo's Animal Crossing game.
nutmeg.
Mhm.
I have a friend. He called his dog Sieben. That's the number 7.
Yeah. Mhm.
And my son just got a new dog and called him Uller, Ullr,
Mhm.
the god of snow.
Yeah.
So he's out in Colorado, so you can guess where that came from.
Good. Let me see if I can bring up one of Whiskey and the Kayak with me here. I'll get my big head out of the way. I got him a cushion. I'll move over here. I got a boat cushion for him to lay down on, and this way he's not right in my paddle space when I go kayaking these days. He likes to pull me to certain places in town here. We go by Lucky 13, the bar, and he'll pull me in there. It's just kind of fun to take Whiskey to the bar back in pre-pandemic times. He gets a lot of good attention when we go to the bar or the hardware store and get snacks there. Or he knows which stores give him treats.
Well, Oscar has figured out that he gets a treat going through the bank. He gets a treat going through the pharmacy. And he also knows he's allowed to go into Lowe's. And he gets tons of attention in Lowe's. So anytime we pull up to any of those stores, he's immediately game. Like, I'm out, let's go.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear.
Hey, Chris, is that your dog in the luggage there?
That was
saw
my
black-
dog in a pet carrier on the back of my motorcycle.
Yeah. I've got to figure out how to do that with
So-
Whiskey, but he's like 40 pounds and he's kind of long.
That's big.
Yeah. I've seen the little Baby
That's
Bjorn
when you
thing, the
get a
chest carrier.
sidecar.
Mhm.
Scott, that's when you get a sidecar.
I've thought about that. The Wallace and Gromit thing would be so cool, but in California, then I got to stop splitting lanes.
Yeah, that's true.
I might
That's
leave him
dangerous.
behind.
Though.
Yeah.
I saw that one time on a tech day from the BMW club in Houston. There come a guy with my old BMW. It was a R1150R Rockster, this special edition with the sidecar and 2 dogs with glasses on it.
Yeah.
And it was not jumping out. It was so cool. I think I have a picture somewhere. I have to look that up. It was so great.
Yeah, it's the best. There's a movie you can get on DVD called Sit, Stay, Ride about America's sidecar dogs. It's just a wonderful movie. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Oscar's got a pair of doggles, and he's actually pretty good about wearing them. We've got him in the back of the carrier. We've only taken him on a couple trips in the back carrier, but he loves the sidecar. He's pretty cool on the sidecar. But he does keep the doggles on until late in the evening when it starts getting dark, because they all come, I don't know why, but they all come tinted like sunglasses.
Yeah.
So in the evening, you can't see, you can't see anything. Yeah, walkers in the neighborhood. So he can't see anything, and then he starts wanting to paw at it to get it off of him.
Yep. Whiskey's like that too. Once we get in the parking garage up in the Redwood Regional Park, then he'll start trying to get out of them.
Yeah. But Oscar's got those big bushy eyebrows, and so if I'm careful, if they're in his doggles, he doesn't like it. He'll paw at them too. So I've got to make sure they're. He is fussy.
Especially with the goggles and the eyebrows on the outside, he must look just like a Muppet, like Animal from the Muppet Show or something.
He does, which is kind of why his name is Oscar, because he kind of looked like
Okay,
Oscar the
Grouch.
Grouch.
That's fantastic.
Well, when I first met him, he was like looking over the little basket with the big bushy eyebrows and the Schnauzer beard, and he just looked like Oscar the Grouch, like, you know. It was very funny, the big eyebrow.
We have one guy here from the Space Center Club, and he's riding as well, and he have a little dog. It doesn't matter what he's doing. Is he sitting on the motorcycle? The dog is with him. He's a little bit like a bulldog, a little bit kind of this, and he's always in a backpack. Or when he goes with a bicycle, he's also with him. So it's so funny with this dog.
Yeah, Jeff did actually buy a basket for the back of his pedal bike for Oscar to sit in, and I always ride behind going, oh, he's going to jump out, but he never does, so I'm surprised.
Did I tell you folks my duffel bag story?
No.
Well, I used to be Army, and so I still got the old duffel bag, and I had this idea, I could carry the dog in the duffel bag, because that's plenty big, and I brought it down from the attic. And once I started trying to see if I could fit him in there, he figured out what's going on. He's like, no, I'm not having anything to do with that bag. Keep that bag away from me. And the tail goes down. He sits backing away. So I think I can't do that idea.
I don't know. There's not a lot of head space in that thing, I don't think.
Well, I just thought, I'll be riding and the dog will be in my backpack, duffel bag, and his head will be over my shoulder. It's like, I think that's not to be.
What could go wrong? Glenn, what's going on with
Oh,
you?
that's a cool photo. That's a nice bike.
Glenn, what's going on with you today? You're muted for one thing.
I'm being quiet.
Yeah, I noticed.
Just trying to behave.
I just got through eating dinner.
What part of the world are you in, Glenn? I forget what your state is.
Maryland.
Okay. Getting late there. I still got a couple meetings ahead of me tonight.
Oh, what time is it there for you, Scott?
Just 4:20.
Oh, okay.
6:20.
7:20.
7:20.
Folks, I'll wake up too early in the morning. So what do we know about what was to be the keynote today? I still had an informal conversation about it.
What? Oh, about what?
The keynote, who was supposed to be presenting?
Oh, okay. Chris knows. I heard. Chris brought the speaker up.
Yeah, it was a peace scholar. So as you all know, Rotary has 7 peace centers around the world. And one of those peace centers happens to be located in the US, and the one in the US happens to be located in North Carolina. And it is shared between two college campuses, Duke and UNC. So the joke is that if there can be peace between Duke and UNC, there can be peace anywhere in the world.
That's great.
But
I hadn't really heard about that program. I'm fairly new at this.
yeah, so Rotary has been doing this for, I think, 20 years now, certainly 15. And part of the donations that we make to the Rotary Foundation supports the Peace Scholars Program. So these guys actually get a pretty much a free ride to go through and get their credentials. It's typically a master's, it's typically like a doctorate in the studies of peace and conflict resolution. So, which is typically why we get Rotary Peace Scholars to speak to our Rotary clubs. And I know Linda, you still on the phone here?
Oh, I muted myself.
Yeah, so Linda had a little bit of a challenge with this particular Peace Scholar because they wanted an honorarium to speak to our club. And that's very unusual for a Peace Scholar to ask for an honorarium to speak to a Rotary club.
Should think.
There's also a certificate program, and I think that's just down in Thailand, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, it's just done in Chulalongkorn, I think is how you say it. And there's a Rotarian in my district who completed that program. And she's running a program. Actually, Linda, this should be a great program for us to have. She runs a program called Mothering Across Continents. And she runs a second program, which is the Rotary Peace Scholars New Generation Peace Builders program, and pretty phenomenal.
You want to send me her contact info?
Yeah. If I forget, just remind me, because I'm not at my computer right now.
I'll send you.
So, but that'd be great. Thanks.
A couple of years ago, we had at our district conference a cop from Philadelphia who had been to the certificate program. And he used the skills he got there to mitigate conflict between the Jewish and Muslim residents of Philadelphia.
So the year that I had my district conference, when I was governor, I had a Peace Scholar from Duke UNC come speak. And he was on the island of, what was that island? Do you remember? He was on Cyprus. And he was one of the negotiators that negotiated the peace between the two sides of Cyprus. And long story short, basically what he figured out in the negotiations of peace, he started asking questions of both sides. And the questions were more or less, why is this fight going on? And because the answer from each side was, well, because the other side are idiots. You know, they just don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're doing. They have different ideals than we do. Yeah, but what started all of this? Well, all we know is our ancestors have been fighting this war, so we just continue to fight. And so, you know, he got down into it and said, so what's it going to take to stop? And, you know, they had a number of negotiations, and they finally realized the only reason they were fighting is because that's what they had always done. Yeah. Yes, John, exactly.
Yes. Yeah, I agree totally, John.
I remember back in the days of Reagan, one of his worst political foes was, the senator from Massachusetts. I can't remember his name, but they were good friends. Yeah, Tip O'Neill.
That's a little like the relationship between McCain and who was it on the other side of the aisle? They were real good friends.
I know
Joe Lieberman.
That could be, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and you look at the Lincoln Project these days, and you know, back in his presidency, and him bringing on opposite voices from his own to try to open his mind a little bit. It's not something that's very common these days.
No, I think our world could go through a lot of peace and conflict resolution training.
Yeah.
But if Scott, if you Google Rotary Peace Centers program, you'll see all kinds of links to learn more about it. It's a phenomenal program, and quite honestly, Rotary's ultimate goal, you know, if you take a look at our 7 areas of focus, one of those areas of focus is peace and conflict resolution, but what really boils up to is world peace. And what a lot of Rotarians don't know is that Rotary had a big hand in the forming of the United Nations. And it's one of the reasons that Rotary is the only service organization that has a seat in the United Nations.
Wow. Okay.
I think the Red Cross does too, don't they, Chris?
I'm not sure about that, John. You know, I had been told, and so I want to emphasize, been told that we were the only service organization that held a seat. So in essence, our Rotary president is an ambassador, and that's the reason when a district governor comes to visit a club that everybody stands, because the district governor is the representative of the president of Rotary, who is an ambassador to the UN.
Rotary and American Red Cross.
Speaking of good programs, this last week, our club had a speaker from the Park Service who talked about African Americans before, during, after the Battle of Gettysburg. And it was probably one of the best presentations I've ever heard. Who's our speaker person?
Me.
Linda.
Yeah, I'll send you his email.
Okay.
It was an excellent program.
Yeah, next week's program should be good. He's already done a trail run for next week. He did that this morning with past district governor from District 5050. He's confirmed with me yesterday, so it'll be a good program. He's started something that's just gone all across the southern half of British Columbia and expanding, so it's good. I think you'll like the program. But send me, you guys have ideas for programs, send them to me. Otherwise you get to listen to what I want to hear about. And if you don't like it, you can't complain.
How's the schedule looking, Linda?
We are booked right now until, I think it was October or November. Let me look. September. October is our next opening. October 14th and 21st. And then November 4th and 18th. And then from December on, it's wide open.
Do we have a leaning toward something that's specifically more of a Rotary topic or more of a motorcycling topic? I know we've had a mix of presenters in the past.
Send me info on stuff you want to hear about.
Interesting. I think what's interesting for you and for everybody else, it can be something with a motorcycle. It can be, you know, everything what is important for us. Maybe we can, that was an idea I had. Maybe we can think about it, you know, what kind of tours we like to make in the future, that we really make something together. I think I would really like that, you know, say what we want to do, where we want to meet, you know, that it's better for all us together come. Or we make something like, we make something in the south, we make something in the north, because not everybody like to ride this big distance, right? So, and then we can make a compromise. So maybe we cannot see all, but we can see a part of the group. I think that would be nice.
That's a good idea.
Thank you.
Also,
You know,
another idea for a program would be maybe we could find one of these dealers that's selling the Zero motorcycles and have them talk about their electric motorcycles and what they're expecting to gain in terms of additional range and battery stamina in the near future.
If you'd like to put that on the calendar, they're made in Scotts Valley. I'm the closest member to that that company. I know some folks who work there. I can probably line it up.
Okay.
I bet that would be a good, interesting program.
Yeah,
I think it would be very interesting. I'd like to see you do it.
All right.
Did you get those
What-
dates?
Yeah, let me know.
Did you get the dates that I gave you?
I
No.
Where should I be looking for these dates?
On the website?
So October 14th or 21st,
Okay.
or November 4th or 18th.
What's your dog doing?
I'm flying at
18th. Okay.
And then starting in December, first, second, or third Wednesday. December on.
Linda, are you keeping that schedule in like an Excel doc or something?
No, it's on the website.
Oh, it's on the
Okay.
website. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, reach out to them and I'll set up something and have them get in touch with you for getting on the calendar. Sound good?
Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, I just, it's like how much.
I don't know that I want to take a zero motorcycle long distance across country, but you know, they're getting ranges now of around 300 plus or minus miles, and that actually makes for a fairly decent day's ride.
Yeah, the recharge time is one of the obstacles. There's a group of folks I hang out with in Santa Cruz once in a while at the Recycle Garage, and they put up the Motorcycles and Misfits podcast weekly. A couple of the guys who are regular riders there. Have you all heard, or some of you heard of Craig Vetter, Windjammer Fairings, the original stuff back in the
Yeah.
70s?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's a big part of
Better's right in my area. Was right in Atascadero, I think.
That
Yeah.
used to be fairly standard pairing on bigger touring bikes.
right before motorcycles started coming with them from the factory.
Yep.
So it's Craig Vetter's sons are actually, they show up to that group once in a while, and lately they're riding not the Zeros anymore. They've both gone to the Italian one, the Energica, which has better range, faster charging, and it's really more meant for high performance use, where the Zero, if you run it too long at too high of speeds, they'll start to overheat. The motor, the electric motor and battery will start to overheat. So quite a few years ago, I drove the Zero back at a motorcycle dealership that no longer exists near South San Francisco, and the Bramo that was in Scuderia West in San Francisco proper. I have not driven the Energica, but you know, someday. But it's a lot of money compared to what you can get in a conventional gas bike. So I'm just not really there yet.
I think the distance, what they can make, that's still a problem, right? Because the range, how far they can get, it's still a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that and the recharge time, because putting in a tank of gas, that's a few minutes, right? And then 1,000 miles a day, if you're dumb enough to do that, like I was. So, one of these guys did do an iron butt on, I think he used the Energica to do it, not the Zero, but it was an electric iron butt. There's very few guys who've done an electric iron butt yet.
You need a trailer with kind of motorcycles to make the iron butt, right? That's, you can switch the bikes.
I think so, but for them, it was the charging infrastructure and finding out where the charging stations are. So mapping it out very carefully. And then the Vetter brothers, they've got this multiple charger system where you plug into more than one station at a time to zap that battery back into shape.
When you want to make an iron butt, what is the distance to make an iron butt?
There
The
are
minimum.
several.
What? Excuse
Yeah.
me?
There are several distances. It could be anywhere 1,000, 1,500. What I keep being told is if you're going to do it, do the 1,500, because realistically, it's not that much farther and it's a longer time period. So instead of, and once again, I'm jogging my brain a little bit on this, but I believe it's 1,024 hours or 1,500, and I think it's 36 hours. So I've had a couple girls attempt it, and I want to say, the hardest thing here in Texas is just planning it. There's even a Texas iron butt where literally you ride around the state of Texas. So there's a lot of varieties, and basically what happens is you document all of it, you send it in, and you're recognized by the Iron Butt Riders Association, and you get an Iron Butt Rider number. And it's, you know, it's a big deal for the people who want to do that, I guess would be the nice way of putting it.
Ute, you can Google Iron Butt, and they've got a website with, they're very strict about recording things, having witnesses. They want you to submit
Yes,
photographs and receipts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Iron
but
Butt
what I
Association.
understand is the ultimate goal is you get a pin or a pad
Or a license plate frame that says "World's Toughest Riders."
and bragging rights.
I only
Yeah,
know
and
that we have one Rotary member in Seabrook. He did it. He have an GS Adventure, and she was riding to California and back in a certain times. So yeah.
But one of the things they say on the website is avoid highways, you know, like interstates. And I don't see how you can do it without getting on an interstate. You're just doing it to get miles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, I did the 1,000 in a day coming back from Tennessee in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
When we looked
And,
at it here, it would be literally like riding from Houston to Fort Stockton on I-10 and back. We've looked at the route a couple times and, you know, just went, do I really need it? No, no, I really don't.
How many stops you can make? So you make it, you know, you can make a short stop to eat something or whatever that's allowed or not.
As
Oh, yeah.
many as many as you want, as long as you do the 1,000 miles in 24 hours.
Oh, in the time. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I have friends who stopped for the night. They started out somewhere in hill country, and I can't remember their whole route, but they ended up coming up in stopping for the night, like somewhere around Dallas, and then got up the next morning and finished the rest of their route.
I didn't know that because, you know, in when the convention was in Atlanta, we made the ride up to Atlanta in 3 days. I think it was 1,200 miles to the convention, and on the way back, the weather was so horrible that we said, okay, we started early. We started 6:30 in the morning in Atlanta, and then we was going on the highway because there was a lot of thunderstorms coming in, and we didn't want them. So we made it in 12 and a half hours. We made 840 miles. So direct on the way back. If I knew that, I can make the last one, you know, next morning, and we still had it, you know, so.
I told my husband that because he rode from Houston to Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and on his way back, he did it in a straight shot. Didn't call me. There's a whole story here, of course, but showed up here at our house, and I'm like, man, you should have just ridden to Galveston and back. You could have, you know, you could have finished your Iron Butt, and we would have been, you know, all over it.
Yes.
Don't you have to declare you're doing it before you start it though? I mean, you can't just miraculously finish 1,000 miles, document it, and say, "Ta-da! I got an Iron Butt."
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. It's a whole. You have to have somebody. Once again,
You could have witnessed
really
to
stringent,
start
yeah.
and finish.
You have to declare you're going to do it before you do it. Otherwise, it doesn't count. So it's not like you can do your 1,000 miles and say, "Hey, I did it."
Yeah.
I count it.
I think the hindrance here as well with Texas is trying to find the right weather conditions to do it in, because I'm not getting on my bike right now and riding to Sturgis because coming out of Texas, it's ungodly. So no, thank you. I'll pass.
Well,
Yeah.
that's going to be a soup there in Sturgis this year too. I don't think I'd go anywhere near that. I think it'd be fun to check it out sometime, but this is not the year I would do it.
No, I have some very good friends up there who were, you know, I participate in biker bells. I participate in all these things. And I was like, yeah, it's not happening this year. And no, I'll stay here in Houston and be perfectly happy with it.
You know, and the other thing is right now they're not looking with social distancing and mask and everything. So not this year.
Exactly. It's crazy.
Nobody needs that. Yeah, but nice to know. Thank you.
Something worth checking out for any kind of long distance riding you do is if you go to the Iron Butt site and look at their archive of wisdom, there is about 30 tips on doing long motorcycle trips and just things to be aware of as far as, you know, what to carry, like dividing up your stops for, don't stop for gas and for food at the same time, because it takes about the same time to go from the gas station, then to the restaurant, whatever, and take all your gear on and off. And so you might as well use that for another saddle brake for your backside. And about not, you know, not riding at night if you can avoid it, and other stuff like that.
Actually, the Hoka Hey is getting ready to start. Does everybody know what the Hoka Hey challenge is?
Mm-mm.
The Hoka Hey challenge, and I'm trying to remember if it's every year. It feels like every year, but I'm not sure. It raises money. So you're raising money for a cause. So one of my good friends out of Austin, her cause is childhood hunger. And so you raise so much money, but it is a 3-week odyssey. You have to ride an American-made bike. Insert your own comment there. No GPS. They give you actual directions. You are going to go from here, you know, on this route. You're going to turn north here. So the directionally challenged, it's really a interesting time for. And you ride 10,000 miles in anywhere from, I think it's 10 to 21 days.
Wow.
And it's a really interesting thing. Another thing to look up, it's the Hoka Hey challenge. We've got a couple riders here in Houston that are preparing right now. I can't remember the actual start date, but I want to say at least they limit the number of participants, and I want to say it's like 100 participants a year. And of course there are awards, like for the person who finishes the fastest. My friend Julie missed out winning the final participant award. She was not the last participant, she was the second to last participant. It's really interesting, but I give her tons of credit. She goes, now this is her second year. When you see them, they wear on their vest, it says the Hoka Hey Challenge, and it is a skull wearing the big Indian headdress. And it's really cool. People always hear about it and say, oh, I'd love to do it, but it's fundraising. It involves a lot of things that people don't always want to do. So interesting stuff, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think it sounds a little bit like a scavenger hunt, right?
Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can find there's a Hoka Hey challenge.
I would really like to do one. The only thing we talked about is, you know, the A to C challenge. I think we want to do that, but we have to talk with Amanda about that, how we can do it, for example. But this is something what I wanted to do last time for my polio ride, to make a scavenger hunt, you know, to make it in teams. I try every year to make something different, you know, of course a different route, but sometimes, you know, when the group is too big, you have to split it up minimum in 2 or 3. It's dependent on how many riders there are. But I thought to, you know, go over that, maybe make duos, so a team with 2 riders, and send them out with some, you know, questions they have to answer in a time, in the way. So I have some ideas, but I'm not ready yet. So I would really like to do that. And we could do that also over with the club, you know, to say, okay, we want to do something for polio, for example, and everybody in your area would make something like that, and then we make a team challenge together, a scavenger hunt together. So each of you would have a team, and then to have to raise the money and get the goal for that right now. But I have to looking for the questions, what we can make, and we can do it, you know, for the whole club. That would be great, something like this.
It'd be a lot more flexible at a time, you know, the pandemic environment too. So it's kind of a neat idea.
Yeah. But if somebody have ideas, what kind of question we can ask them, you know, because they have to answering them in the group, so they have to find the answer, and at the end they have to be right. And of course, the goal is to make a lot of money. We can do it for polio. We can do it also maybe to support another project or whatever, you know. It's open.
So what do we got? Find a COVID-19
No, please not.
testing center?
No, nothing with COVID, please, because I think it's over that, Don't tell me about COVID. No, but maybe, we ask something, of course, to do with Rotary, maybe about the history of Rotary, for example.
Yeah, a Rotary Park. Find a Rotary Park.
Open it up, or do we, when we open it up to people, they have no Rotary background, maybe we have to ask some other question, maybe history questions. That would be nice as well. History places in the areas we have to visit, we have to make pictures, or maybe we have to go in the shop, buy something, and I have the build or whatever, some stupid things, only, to do something. Make it as a team, that's an important thing,
Mhm. That sounds like a special committee, Uta, to figure out how to do that.
Oh, by the way, I found out in Frankfurt an rental service for motorcycles. It had categories from 1 to 9. Of course, BMW, GS or GSA GS is I think 8, and GSA is category 9. Of course, they are the most expensive, but they have also KTMs, they have Harleys, they have Goldwings, they have pretty much everything.
Saturday,
Yeah.
I'm getting a replacement radio in my 2006 K1200 LT. They're hard to come by, but I found a guy that can do it and getting it done.
Cool.
Yes, I think they have an LT too, but yeah.
Well,
Maybe
mine, apparently that vintage in those years, they had amplifiers that apparently went out, and you'd have one speaker, maybe two, then they'd cut out, then you'd get nothing. And then you might start it up and you'd get speakers for 4 seconds and then they'd cut out. That's what mine's doing. And so he's going to take my unit, rebuild it, and give me a completely renovated unit with higher wattage output and better speakers.
Sounds nice. It's one thing you can say about the BMW community is a huge community for support between the MOA and the airheads and so on.
And he's doing this for less than half of what the dealer was going to charge.
Mhm.
He's going to do all that for $400 in one day while I wait.
Nice.
Oh.
where he's sitting,
Pardon?
where he is located.
He's located in Cape Coral, Florida.
That cost me minimum 1,400 miles.
Yeah, and you think you'd want gooder speakers instead of badder ones.
Well, perhaps that's synonymous. The only thing I had to do is find a place to leave my little Havanese dog for a day while I get the bike taken care of. And fortunately, everybody loves my dog Hava, so she's going to be better taken care of than I.
Yeah. That happens to Oscar as well.
I have a Pluto video queued up if you want to see it. You guys want to see Pluto, the dog?
Sure.
Sure.
All right, hold on.
Oh, in person. Hi, Tom. Nice to see you. Oh, Flamingo.
I had to do surgery on Flamingo's leg yesterday, and it took three surgeries to restore the stuffing and the squeaker because Hava had chewed it up.
Yeah, we have the same issue, only it's pig.
Mhm.
All right. Here you go.
Oh, how cute.
And I wanted to be fair and come back and tell you that I really think that cats they're pretty amazeballs. So I want to say they're really really, really attentive and friendly and humble. And I just think it's so productive when they squish themselves into jars or bowls or stay inside boxes. And I actually love it when they come and visit me when I'm just out just relaxing on my balcony, and they get my attention, and then they just sit down below and they just flicking their tails while I lose my mind, ramming my head into the rails and barking like a crazed wolf dog. And they have the pooping box trick. Wow, that's pretty cool. Stinking up the whole house and scattering the cat rubble everywhere. That's pretty, that's epic. And also the hairball trick is also pretty good. That where they have those big gobs of slimy stuff, which are like big, deep, dark, scary thoughts that they puke on the floor. Very, very, very cool. And also, I just wanted to say that in my neighborhood, the cats, they're very neighborly. They when I come by from my sniffing and my walking, they come over, they wander over, and they just stop 2 feet from the end of my leash and just swish their tail and stretch their camel hump while I choke myself and lose control. So they're really friggin' cute. Anyways, I also think they're spontaneous little monsters, the way they knock everything over and tap things around with their shifty little boxer paws. And mostly, though, what I think is really special is I love the way they bring their humans dead things. You know, they like to acknowledge that their two-leggeds are really stupid and they don't know how to hunt and feed themselves. I think that's just totally thoughtful. So anyways, I really just wanted to stop spreading rumors and just come and say that I really think that cats, I think they're pretty amazing.
The wisdom of Pluto. Love it.
Pluto has his own her own
Piggy.
Katie.
Hi, everybody, it's me, Pluto. And I
That's my dog's toys.
because my mom's knickers are
another piggies.
I hate when they auto start.
Yep. Oh, I actually did something similar with Oscar. I sent a